Have you ever felt invisible? Like your words didn't echo in the room? Your presence barely made it, as if the world just chose to look right over you? That quiet pain, not dramatic, not loud, just a hollow kind of quiet that whispers, perhaps you don't matter. But what if the silence isn't rejection? What if it is the universe's method of saying, stop seeking noise, begin listening to yourself? Being ignored is like loss. You replay moments, asking yourself what went wrong. Was it something you said, something you failed to do? The mind scrambles ceaselessly for cause, but occasionally there is no fault, only deflection. When the world ceases to listen, the universe is returning your own attention. It is saying, you've given away too much of yourself. Now it is time to go home, to your own mind, your own peace. Marcus Aurelius once penned, "Be indifferent to what makes no difference." And perhaps that is what this moment is about. When others ignore you, it is not necessarily a signal that you are not worth anything. It is a sign that your development has outgrown their grasp. The Stoics believed rejection to be a mirror, one that mirrors what you hold on to. And if the mirror is painful, it is because somewhere along the way, you've anchored your value to the eyes that observe you. But what do you do when those eyes look away? You start to see yourself clearly. Silence is not emptiness. It's the forge where character is shaped. Think of it, a sculptor chiseling away stone. Each strike removes what doesn't belong. Painful, yes, but necessary, until what's hidden beneath finally emerges. Strong, beautiful, undeniable. When no one listens to you, listen to yourself. When no one believes in you, believe twice as hard, because that's when the shift begins. From needing validation to mastering self-respect. You are not being erased. You're being refined. You're not being left behind. You are being moved forward, toward a version of you that doesn't require to be witnessed to be strong. The fact is, being overlooked poses one question. Who are you when nobody's looking? People live for applause. For the most part, they construct identities from responses, self-esteem from observation. But when the notice goes away, so does their sense of self. The Stoic eschews that need. He behaves with virtue, not for approval, but because it is the appropriate thing to do. The world's silence is not punishment. It is preparation. It is showing you that your worth isn't measured by how loudly the world responds, but by how silently you keep going on your mission. So, if you are being ignored at the moment, don't pursue noise. Accept the quiet. Don't try to prove yourself to those who have ceased listening. Rather, construct yourself so strongly that their silence doesn't matter. The universe conceals its rewards in quiet, and perhaps this silence, this hurt of being invisible, isn't the end of your story, but the moment your true story starts. When folks begin to ignore you, something within you shatters a little. It is not a boom. It doesn't blow. It merely dims, like the light dimming slowly in an empty room. And in the darkness, you feel little, unsure, lost. You question what happened. You question why the world suddenly turned its back. But here is what the universe is quietly doing. It is taking away distractions. It is showing you who is real. It is taking away the noise so that the truth may breathe. Being ignored is painful. Yes, but pain has always been the universe's favorite teacher. The Stoics used to say that discomfort is the gateway to strength, Epictetus once wrote. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. And when you get ignored, you learn. You learn how much of your confidence was borrowed. You learn how much of your peace hinged on other people's attention. The stillness you sense at the moment is not punishment. It is conditioning. The world is compelling you to construct peace that does not crumble when quiet. At first, you'll want to resist it. You'll want to pursue the people who lost interest. You'll replay the story and create alternate conclusions. But then something happens. You understand that no amount of pleading will get people to value you if they're not willing to do so. And that is when freedom starts. Being overlooked puts things into perspective. It makes you wonder what you were pursuing in the first place. Did you desire true connection or mere acknowledgement? Did you desire to be understood, or did you desire to be admired? Occasionally, the universe employs silence to humble one's ego, to demonstrate to you that you can still be, still grow, still radiate even when no one applauds. It is the soft whisper that your calling was never about relying on an audience. When people overlook you, it's not because you're unworthy. Sometimes it's because your energy no longer fits where it once did. Silence becomes the universe's gentle way of saying, it's time to evolve. And in that evolution, you start to see something beautiful. You stop trying to be seen, and you start trying to see. You see who actually listens. You see who values you even when you're not convenient. You see who stays when the spotlight fades. The silence allows for presence, and presence, that absolute awareness, is where Stoicism really exists. It is where you start to become a master of being unbothered by what other people think. Marcus Aurelius had to endure betrayal, war, and isolation. But he penned, "Withdraw into yourself." The rational principle which rules has this nature, that it is content with itself when it does what is just, and so secures tranquility. To accept yourself, that is the prize buried in the quiet of being overlooked. When nobody affirms you, you learn to affirm yourself. When nobody values you, you learn to value your progress. When nobody notices you, you notice your own value. This is the universe's secret trade. Off, it removes your audience to grant you awareness. It removes approval to grant you alignment. It removes individuals who drain you to show you peace that can't be stolen. So the next time you feel invisible, remember, this isn't rejection. It is refinement. You are not being left behind. You are being put where noise can no longer distract you. Because when nobody's looking at you, that is when your attention is strong. You look inside, and you encounter yourself. That is the place the universe hums softly. Now you are ready. There is a moment when the silence is no longer painful. It begins to heal. Initially, it makes you uncomfortable. You glance at your phone less. You wait for messages that never arrive. You drive through days that are curiously quiet. But eventually, that quiet does not feel like punishment anymore. It begins to feel like peace. The world has a tendency to erase everything that annoys you from growing. When others ignore you, it is not that you lost value. It is just that your energy is no longer to be wasted proving yourself. The silence provides you room to grow without permission, without approval, without noise. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When you give up seeking attention, you give up wasting life. You understand that peace was never meant to be obtained from other people's approval. It was meant to be found inside. Being overlooked makes you turn your attention inwards. You cease to wonder, "Why don't they see me?" and begin to wonder, "Why do I need them to?" That single question can revolutionize your whole life. It takes away the delusion that love and validation have to happen from the outside. In the silence, you begin to notice your patterns. You notice how much energy you gave to people who couldn't meet you halfway. You notice how many times you explained yourself, over-apologized, overshared, just to be seen. And then you stop. You stop asking for attention, and you begin to develop presence. The solitude becomes the return of yourself. You begin to do things not because someone is going to see, but because they are a source of peace. Reading, walking, thinking, breathing, these become not filler anymore. And that is when the secret payoff is revealed: self-respect. The kind that can't be purchased with compliments or pilfered by rejection. It is quiet, unshakable, and potent. The Stoic mind does not rely on the opinions of others to recognize its value. It relies on clarity. It relies on truth. It relies on being in line with what is right, not what is popular. You begin to understand that each individual who ignored you was doing you a favor. Their lack of engagement gave you your power back. They set you free from being dependent. They inadvertently showed you how to live without them. This awareness is where change really starts. You begin to walk differently. Your silence is strength. Your solitude is sacred. You no longer pursue. You attract. You no longer justify. You become. There is a serenity that comes when you are not trying to be heard. You understand that not everyone is supposed to listen to you. Not everyone is supposed to see you. Some folks are put in your life simply to show you how to stand by yourself. And once you accept that, finally, the universe begins to open doors you never even saw. It sends chances, individuals, and peace that resonate with the version of you that does not plead for notice. The stinging pain of being ignored starts to recede, and in its place develops an unspoken gratitude, because now you realize that the silence that hurt you so much was actually the universe whispering, "You don't need their approval. You need your purpose." You start noticing that all the unanswered messages, all the shrugged-off efforts, all the empty space were lessons on letting go, and the more you let go, the lighter you feel.